everybody, Karen Roby and Dallin Adams here for Tech Republic, talking about one of Dallin, I know your most favorite topics to discuss, space travel. Now, this is something that you love to write about, and it's so exciting and fun to discuss. So we're talking specifically today what you're learning about this Mars 2020 mission, about simulation, all that good stuff. So start from the beginning here, what you've learned.
Yeah, well, the launch took off this morning. That was very exciting. I woke up a little earlier than usual so I could have my cup of coffee and watch that.
Right.
Always a great experience. It's really interesting. I've done a couple of pieces about this upcoming Mars 2020 mission, and yesterday I was curating this whole piece on how to watch it. And I was just curious. I was like, okay, well, I can turn into NASA's YouTube channel and everything, but they also had it available where you could actually buy tickets to watch it live at Cape Canaveral for $57. And I was like, if I were closer, that's really, really appealing. But yeah, it launched this morning. It has the latest Mars rover in tow. We've sent several rovers over the years. With Sojourner was the first one, Curiosity, Spirit, and Opportunity. Curiosity is actually still roving on Mars, which is really exciting. I think its original mission was much smaller than I think it was a couple of years it was supposed to last. Like a 2-year original mission, and now it's actually still working 8 years later, which is so impressive. The latest rover is Perseverance, and it builds on the foundation set by these previous rovers, and the search for microbial life continues this time around.
So interesting. And you were telling me, I think this is so cool with the underneath the helicopter that is underneath, and Ingenuity, the name, of course, their names are always great. Talk a little bit about that and how this one looks a little different.
Yeah, the thing about Mars is the atmosphere on Mars is super thin. It's, I believe, 100 times thinner than Earth's atmosphere. And so flying through that poses its own set of challenges. So for the first time, they've created the Mars helicopter, which its name is Ingenuity, and it's strapped to the bottom of the rover. And yeah, it has these dual rotors on the top of it, and it's specifically designed to fly through this very thin Martian atmosphere. And yeah, unlike the rover, which, it's super agile, this thing can kind of go anywhere, and it can fly into areas that maybe the rover can't access due to like rough terrain, or it's just not supposed to. And they say in future missions, these drones could also help with just mapping and looking around and seeing the terrain and helping us in a future manned mission potentially.
And I think what's really cool, Dallin, for these articles and for your research, you talk to some of these guys and gals that are, fully immersed in this every day, and this is their job. And for someone that really loves space travel and all of that kind of thing, I mean, what an incredible job that would be, and a huge responsibility that they have as well.
Oh yeah, I got to speak with one of the engineers who worked specifically on the Perseverance mission and as well as the Curiosity mission. And we just chatted predominantly on entry, descent, and landing in the Martian atmosphere, just because that's such a challenge. Everyone tunes in when it lands on Mars, but there's a lot before that. It's like the idea of entering Mars atmosphere at nearly 12,000 miles an hour, slowing it down using like this specially designed parachute. And then the next thing that happens, there's this whole powered descent vehicle. So like while they're hanging on the parachute, the powered descent vehicle kind of comes out of that area and then begins like looking at the terrain. And this time around, it features this new type of system where the descent vehicle actually has maps stored on board. So as it's hanging on the chute, it's looking at the terrain and comparing the images it's looking at versus the images it has stored. And at that point in time, then it picks a safe location, kind of goes to that area, and then it does this sky crane maneuver where it just slowly lowers the rover down via a series of tethers. And then once its wheels touch the ground, it signals to the powered descent vehicle. And at that point, the powered descent vehicle flies off, and the rover is ready to go to work.
I think one of the really cool things is thinking about now for kids, especially that want to learn about this, or just to, to barely scratch the surface of just getting to watch, and they can be so much more immersed in it now. I mean, you mentioned like NASA's YouTube channel. I mean, you think about when we were younger, and just 10 years ago, that so much of this wasn't available now, but we can really, as the public, really be involved in terms of watching and getting to see different parts of this, and it's just really fascinating.
It's really great. You know, you just think about all the minds that are being shaped for the future, like watching that launch this morning. You never know who's watching and who was just inspired by that. Like, you know, the next brain that puts us on Mars in 20 years from now, or who knows further down the line outside in our planetary system, who was inspired by today's launch.
That's right. You got to start somewhere, and certainly it really piques their interest. You know, kids especially at a young age to get to learn about that. Well, really interesting stuff here again, Dallin. I know you could talk about it for days, as it's certainly something that you love. So we've got you've put all of this together in an article for Tech Republic, and this again is a subject you've written about several times in the past, right?
Oh yeah, we have three pieces dedicated to. There's an everything you need to know about the Mars 2020 mission, and then there is a piece dedicated to the entry, descent, and landing challenges. And then we had another one curated about how to watch the launch. But of course, that's not as pertinent anymore. There's still nice details in there if you'd like to read that one as well. But yeah, three dedicated pieces at this point.
Awesome. All right. Well, all of you guys out there, we hope that you will check it out again. That's on Tech Republic. And Dallin, thanks so much for being with us. And we thank all of you for watching us here today.